What's up guys, welcome back for another review, and this time we're taking a look at Luke Cage Season 2. If you're new to the channel, I drop new reviews every week, so be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on anything. Mike Colter is back as Luke Cage, and things pick up after the Defenders, and Luke finds himself in the middle of a power struggle over Harlem between Mariah and a new crime boss, Bushmaster. The season opens up with Luke shutting down a drug warehouse that's been using his name on the product, and he's intent on getting it off the streets as fast as possible. Claire isn't too happy with his new methods, and this leads to conflict between the two of them. Mariah and Shays have plans to go legit, but things fall apart when Bushmaster declares war on Mariah and terrorizes all of Harlem to get her. And this puts Luke in the middle of the chaos, and he has to find a way to resolve things without losing himself in the process. Going into this season, I really didn't know what to expect since things kind of started great and went downhill after the halfway point in the first season. This time the reverse happens. It started off pretty bad but got a lot better as things went along, but I feel that was mostly due to different directors handling different episodes. Mike Colter continues to do a great job with this character, and I felt he did a great job portraying the new layers of complexity added to Luke this season. From his arguments with Claire and his rocky relationship with his dad to simultaneously dealing with Mariah and Bushmaster. Luke has a ton of new problems on his plate, and they do a great job of showing his struggle to manage everything. I like where they end things with him this season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where things go in season 3. This season did a better job of making Misty likable this time around because I found her pretty irritating in the last season. But here she's really good, and it was nice to see her overcome the challenges of her life changing due to having lost an arm. She got a couple of really nice fight scenes this time, and was one of the better aspects of this season. We get a couple of cool cameos from Danny and Colleen this season, and it really made me wish they got to stick around a bit more. But it also made me anxious to see a Heroes for Hire spinoff. They continue to make Finn Jones more and more likable as Danny following the poor reception of Iron Fist, and I think in the right hands he can be just as good as the rest of the Defenders. Continuing the trend of making unlikable characters enjoyable, they managed to do the same for Shays this time. He goes from a sleazy guy who slinks out of the shadows into an actual person with depth and layers to him. His relationship with Mariah is a bit cringy for me to watch, but it's obviously a touchy subject for him, which was funny. The change he goes through after certain events this season was very well done and very compelling, and did a great job of humanizing him a bit. We got a few new characters this season, with the standouts being Tilda and Bushmaster. Tilda was interesting because I didn't know what direction they were going to take her character this season, and you get to know her a bit as the show goes on, and in episode 9 we learn about her past, and she became one of the most sympathetic characters in the whole series. They also tease her heading down a darker path next season, so I'm looking forward to seeing where things go for her. Bushmaster continues the recent trend of Marvel giving us amazing villains with understandable motivations and relatable views. He wants control of Harlem, and he wants to kill Mariah and remove Luke as the city's beacon of hope because he feels that's his birthright. He was one of, if not the best thing about this season. As you learn why he's hell-bent on revenge against Mariah, you understand, and while his methods are ruthless, you get where the guy's coming from, and that's what makes a great villain. Alfre Woodard as Mariah was perfect casting by Marvel, and I'm glad her appearance in Civil War didn't sway them from casting her here, because she was one of the most entertaining things about this season. This lady does not care about anything or anyone at all, and she will definitely let you know. In the first season, you saw her reluctant to embrace her family's dark role in Harlem, but here, she's completely relishing in it. And by the end of the season, she's right up there with Kingpin as the best villain of the Netflix shows. Now, I did have a few problems with this season, and the slow start and bad directing in the early episodes were just some of them. While they both do an amazing job here and elevated the show with their sheer level of talent, I didn't really like the subplot of Claire and Luke's father trying to force Luke to reconcile with him. Claire was out of line, and she goes on to switch her stance on him fighting to help Harlem when, in season 1, she was among the many people telling him he had to do something, and now she wants him to ignore sirens to stay home with her. I just thought it was a 360 for her character and a bit selfish, and while the late Reg E Cathey definitely was great, he came across a bit jealous of Luke's abilities and selfish in wanting to rush Luke into forgiving him simply because he's sorry and trying. Now this last one is small, but it definitely almost made me give up on the show entirely. And I'm glad I stuck it out, but the scene where Luke is giving a message to anyone who challenges him in Harlem and dabs, that was too ridiculous, and I was done. I couldn't believe they chose to have him do that, and I feared it would get worse as things went on, but thankfully it did. This season was a huge step up from the first one. It has me really intrigued about where things will go heading into season 3. I'm going to give Luke Cage season 2 an 8.5 out of 10. It's one of the better additions to the Marvel Netflix shows, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you have the time. Next up is Ant-Man and the Wasp, so be on the lookout for that to drop. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.